Outrage tonight as disturbing photos from a Democratic lawmaker's fundraiser come to light. Illinois' Chicago area state senator Martin Sandoval's event appears to feature a person dressed up as the president in Mexican garb and is being assassinated, reportedly with a fake gun. The Democratic state senator has apologized for this taking place, and while there's no indication he was directly involved, you gotta think, isn't this a little bit bizarre that this Democrat supporters thought that somehow this imagery was actually just okay, that this was perfectly fine? Here we are, just after these two mass shootings. Where's their sensitivity chip? Joining me right now, Kristin Tate of Young Americans for Liberty and Trump 2020 Campaign Advisory Board member Madison Jessioto. Welcome to you both. Madison, what is wrong with people?
Good to be with you, Trish.
Yeah, good to see you. I mean, how do you react to it?
You know, it's so sad when you see things like this, you see images like this. And I think what's so hypocritical about it all is we continue to hear so many on the left cry that the president tweets inappropriately, that they feel that he's too brash, they feel that he's the reason that we see mass shootings, which of course isn't the case and is extremely offensive. But when you see violence or images of violence coming from the other side, you don't hear as much about it. No, I don't think Sandoval is necessary to blame unless we have evidence come out that we haven't seen yet showing that he had planned this or knew that this was going to happen. Just as we can't blame President Trump for something that happens based off of one of his supporters, we can't blame the state senator either. But at the same time, I mean, I'd like to see more Democrats coming out and condemning this when we're seeing what just happened 3 hours from my home here in Canton, Ohio, in Dayton, just a few weeks ago, and we see people lose lives. And no, to the normal person, they're not going to look at that image and actually go out and do something awful. But there are a lot of mentally ill people out there that may see this as inspiration and end up doing something awful. And so we need to continue to put a stop to things like this at political events and see both sides speaking
Kristin,
more harshly
that's
against
the problem.
it.
I mean, extremism of any kind is not good. But, the left is out there saying it's only the right, it's only the right. And wait a second, no, that's not the case. I mean, you look at Antifa, you look at what just happened at this fundraiser, there's a lot of hate out there, a lot of it on the left. I mean, that to me is also creating this division. What do you think?
Yeah, it is despicable, Trish, but am I surprised that this happened? Of course not. This kind of deranged behavior is the natural result of left-wing leaders telling their constituents that Donald Trump and his supporters are a bunch of white nationalists who share responsibility for mass shootings. Liz Warren and Beto O'Rourke consistently call the president a racist like it's a fact. Eric Holder said of conservatives, when they go low, we kick them. This kind of hateful rhetoric, it just energizes this kind of explosive culture of violence that we're seeing on the left. Antifa is beating people up in the streets with crowbars. Left-wing mobs chase conservatives like Ted Cruz and Sarah Sanders out of restaurants. Steve Scalise got shot in a baseball field by a crazed left-winger. Bit by bit, this kind of behavior just escalates and it becomes normalized. And sadly, civility and unity have gone by the wayside.
It's scary stuff. And to me, like, you can't blame one person for that. I mean, it takes two to tango. And Madison, somebody's going to take responsibility on the left as well. And I don't see a lot of criticism of this terrible behavior. I see that it's somehow sort of cool, right, and okay to be like, those Donald Trump supporters, like they're terrible, horrible people that you should harass, as well, Maxine Waters would tell you to do.
Right, and especially when we're seeing many of these videos of violence coming out from these Antifa groups, specifically most recently, of course, in Portland. And we're seeing in past videos of violence against elderly people, videos of violence against minors. It's absolutely horrific. And what I think is so disheartening is that not much is being done and not much is being said about this. This is violence coming from the left. Of course, there's going to be violence coming from both sides sometimes. We need to always speak out against violence. It is never right. And when it comes to the imagery that sometimes inspires violence, Kristin's absolutely right. This is not that surprising, considering it's not the first time it happened. We've seen comedians hold the president's fake dead head. We saw Snoop Dogg do a fake assassination of the president after he was elected in a music video. So we're seeing this consistently.
Agreed. And you wonder why people, Kristin, really quick to you, don't want to say, oh, I'm a conservative, or oh, I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Of course not. If you are a Trump supporter, you subject yourself to harassment, boycotts, maybe even assaults by groups like Antifa. Left-wing violence has been on the rise since the day of Trump's inauguration, when police indicted 600 rioters. Those riots resulted in 6 cops being injured and millions of dollars worth of damage. It's just gotten worse since, and I don't see any left-wing leaders out there trying to call for real unity and trying to just bring people together when political tensions are boiling over.
It's a shame. They're exploiting it, unfortunately. Kristin and Madison, good to see you both. Thank you so much.